I've been photographing weddings now for over 10 years, and for the last 2 of those years, I've been using the Sony A9 III. I've used them in dark spaces for ceremonies, fast-paced moments like dance floor chaos, emotional moments, you name it, this beast has captured it. This isn't a first impressions video, this is an honest review after a couple of years using this camera. So why did I choose the A9 III? That's a good question. I chose it based on one thing. Does it make my life easier? Will it make my life easier? And the answer is absolutely. Weddings are fast-paced, emotional and unpredictable. So I really needed a camera that I could use just to keep up with those kind of things. And yes, there are many cameras out there that can do that, but this thing is just so different. It really does stick to my subjects, and I'm talking autofocus. The autofocus on this camera is insanely sharp. If I want to hit my subject and I will just lock onto it, I can just lock onto it, look away, and I know I am still locked onto my subject. And that's kind of what I want. I want to be able to capture my subjects and be present at the same time and not worry about the autofocus. So yes, the autofocus on this is mind-blowingly amazing. I chose this camera based on, will it make my job easier? And the simple answer is yes, absolutely. Weddings are fast, emotional, and so unpredictable. Very chaotic, if I'm going to be honest. Some weddings are so chaotic, some weddings are chilled. But I have the tool that kind of enables me to capture everything I know I need with peace of mind. So that's kind of why I went with this camera. I want to be present when I'm shooting my couples. I don't want to be worrying about menu systems or is my autofocus on the right tracking setting, etc. This thing just sticks. It just sticks. Maybe that should be my thumbnail. This thing just sticks. And yeah, it is a beast of a camera. It's expensive. That's a negative. It is really expensive. Is this for enthusiasts? Absolutely not. It's so, unless you've got money to burn, fine, crack on. If you want the best of the best, crack on. But again, if you're gonna get a nice camera for, say, landscaping or portraiture, I'd probably go for the A7 III or the A1. If you've got that much money to spend on this, go for the A1 Mark II. But other than that, I would, yeah, this camera is a beast for events, weddings, sports. But anything else, I wouldn't waste your money on it otherwise, because it's just the autofocus that really sets this apart. So the picture quality on this is absolutely beautiful. The color rendition is stunning. So before this, I had the A9 Mark II. The autofocus on that was good, but this was definitely next level when it came to the autofocus. The colors are the same, they are just as gorgeous. The build quality of this is, for me, probably one of the better features for sure. The bigger grip. I've got big hands, so the big grip on this was needed for me. I found with the A9 Mark II, by the end of a wedding, my hands were really hurting. So I believe I did get an extra battery grip for the A9 Mark II, which I loved, but I always found that it was a bit finicky and it would malfunction. I'd have to take batteries out, put it in. Maybe I just had a Duff product, and it was Sony's one as well, so it was an original one. But it always kept kind of, I don't know if there was something inside or it would just kind of malfunction. But yeah, I haven't needed to get an extra grip for this. I find it's deep enough for my hands and stuff. So the screen's a really nice addition. The twisty, turny, I can go vertical, horizontal, you name it. It's got that screen. It's beautiful. Looking through the eye cup, amazing, crystal clear. Again, that was one of the downsides for the A9 Mark II. I just found that didn't age very well, where this is just beautiful to look through. Everything's clear, yeah, and bright, and I can see my subjects clearly. Maybe I'm just getting old. I'm wearing glasses, looking through these half the time. It's a pain in the ass. But yeah, so also another cool feature, because obviously this camera can shoot at stupid speeds, and I'm talking 120 frames a second. I don't ever shoot on that. I don't, but I do have a little button in here programmed for it. So if there is a nice little scene, you know, confetti shot or the first kiss, I can press this button. It automatically switches to the 120 frames a second, and I can just hold down and just capture that moment in all those glorious frames, and then I can just put it into a nice little movie, like GIF for my couples. So yeah, that's a nice little feature to have. But generally speaking, the build quality of this is next level compared to its predecessor. So yeah, hands down for that is. So this thing is quick. It is so quick. It's so quick when things are moving fast, and it can be deadly quiet when you need it to be quiet. Yes, you can shoot complete silent shooting with the global shutter. You don't need to worry about dodgy church lights or anything like that. You can go full silent. The only downside with going full silent, I like to have, you need a little bit of audio cue, because the amount of photos you can take on this on this camera is insane. So that is the only downside when it comes to taking photos silent shooting. You really don't know how many you're taking. Obviously you do have a little counter up in the top, but again, I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at my couples. I'm looking at people in the background. So I'm generally, I get really caught up in a ceremony, and I'm just looking for the emotions, you know, kicking off. So yeah, the silent shutter on this thing is just a godsend. Silent shooting does come with caveats, and it did do so with my A9 Mark II. Although the banding was okay, and I got away with it 90% of the time if I was in a church with rubbish lighting, this thing completely eliminates it with the global shutter. So you can shoot completely silent and just know that you will have a clean image and not the horrible banding that comes on your screen. So the IF on this camera is insane. It will literally just go straight to a subject's eye. It has obviously the AI chip, so it can determine parts of the body that it's actually looking at. So if the head's not there, it will go to the back of the head, and as soon as someone turns around, it will literally catch them straight in the eye. I believe you can set it in camera, have which eye you want. I generally just have it to the closest one that it picks up. Low light, yeah, we all have to deal with that. Churches, you know, speeches that go on later than they should. Yes, we've all been there. Dark dance floors. You know, this camera just chews up low light. But again, I'm always going to slap on a flash. If it's really that dark, I'm not going to shoot in a very dark atmosphere. I'm going to use a flash. And you know, that's for another topic. But yeah, generally speaking, if I was in a dark room and I didn't have my flash, I could make this camera work for me, for sure. I mean, this past Christmas, wedding venues, it was pretty dark in some places, and yeah, luckily this camera came out top. Does this camera make me a better photographer? No. You still need the fundamentals of, where, composition, where to be on a wedding, understand what's happening in front of you. This just helps me get there quicker, and I can just be more present on a wedding day, and that's what I love about this camera. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take care now. I've touched on this before, but silent shooting is a game changer. Obviously, with the global shutter, you can shoot in churches with shit lighting. Am I allowed to swear on YouTube? I don't know. I'll beep it out. Anyway, yeah, silent shooting is honestly a game changer. And I know silent shooting has been on other cameras before. I had it on my Mark II, on the A9 Mark II. So yeah, but this has global shutter as the sensor, and you don't need to really worry about being in a shitty church. Again, a shitty church? What are you doing, Paul? I didn't mean shitty church, I meant a church with shit lights. Fuck's sake. Anyway, take again.